So welcome. It's great to be here. I think we are here as a panel to discuss on chartering the future for radiology and innovation and real world impact to what's happening in radiology. My name is Sri Sasnaman. I'm the SVP and Head of Healthcare and Business for Tata Elxsi. I'm joined by three esteemed panelists from Bayer. I'll let them introduce themselves and then we'll go around, right?
Thank you, Sri. My name is Bipin Salunke. I'm the Global Head for Medical Devices Research and Development for Bayer Radiology. We are part of Bayer Pharmaceutical. I have been working for Bayer more than 17 years now, and it's really my pleasure to work in MedTech sector for last 29 years. And happy to be here and looking forward for the panel discussion.
Thank you, Bipin.
Thank you, Sri. I'm Hortense Allison. I'm the Vice President, Regulatory Affairs for Medical Devices at Bayer Radiology. I've been with Bayer now for 3 years, and it's just been a wonderful journey working in this space because we see every day the impact that we're making in patients' lives. I've been in the industry for more than 25 years, and I'm very happy and excited to be here with you all.
Thank you, Hortense. Dr. Jürgen.
Thank you, Sri. My name is Jürgen Weber. I'm heading up regulatory affairs within radiology. So my team and I are responsible for all the medical device development which we have, for the lifecycle management of devices, but also for the contrast media part, which is also part of our radiology business. Myself, I have experience for now more than 23 years in industry, all the time working in regulatory affairs. So work in different functions on the drug side, but also on the device side. And as I said, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Jürgen. So I think the first question is open for all three of you. I think, as you're aware, healthcare is going through a significant transformation. A lot of innovation happening across many of the organizations. Bayer is at the forefront of many of these innovations. Whether you look at AI, whether you look at data standards, whether you look at regulatory compliance, Bayer seems to be leading the way. I like some of the taglines in terms of driving innovation as a culture across. And that's what is inspiring Bayer as a leader in the med devices space, right? So the first question, I think the term intelligent radiology, I think some of us are hearing this, looks to be everywhere but feels abstract. So the question is from your unique standpoint, I mean, where does transformation from radiology to intelligent radiology figures, and what does it truly mean for a radiologist and from a patient care, right? So question open to all three of you.
So we all know that imaging is extremely fundamental to fundamentals of healthcare, good imaging. So the need of radiology is always there, and now where the world is moving is a tremendous amount of information being coming to the radiologists. And the fundamental role of radiologists is to make accurate diagnosis. So where the intelligence piece is coming is how do we put all the information that is coming in and coming with a very fundamental good diagnosis. And that's where there are so many ways, the tools like MedTech sector trying to come up with better devices, as well as the evolution of AI and data and software. All these streams are coming together to make radiology job easier, better, but more importantly, it is the accurate diagnosis.
Thank you.
Yes. So great introduction to this so important topic, Bipin. Maybe one thing I want to add is the impact of intelligent radiology on the workflow. Where we're seeing an opportunity for radiology is in the area of making the workflow more seamless, more manageable for radiologists. Right now, we do have a shortage of radiologists, at least in the US. And of course, we have many more images per scan, right, to review. And so anything that we can do to alleviate the burden on the radiologists in this environment is going to improve accuracy of diagnosis. And so this is where AI, for instance, can help with the workflow, help as a second reader in some cases for the radiologists. And so again, this is an important topic and one that we will continuously see being progressing as the years go.
Thank you, Hortense. Dr. Jürgen?
Yeah, I want to give another note because all complete what you said, but we should not forget there's a patient. So in every suite, at every diagnosis, there's a patient. And what can we do as an industry to really make this interaction between the nurse, the radiologist, and the patient as good as possible? So we have to help the radiologist spending the much time he has on the patient. And that's what I feel with intelligent radiologists, to really use all what we can do to help the radiologist so that he can really focus on the patient. Because the patient is the most important person in that room where we do the scans.
Thank you, Dr. Jugan, Bipin, and Hardens. I think great insight. So I think, like you said, patient at the core of the ecosystem drives value and outcome. So moving further on, I want to just focus on innovation and early value that Bayer as an organization is driving through. So first question, Bipin, I have for you is, with many innovations entering radiology, how do you actually differentiate between breakthrough innovations versus those that may not be able to deliver critical clinical value, right?
Yeah, so innovation is extremely dear to our heart, right? It is innovation that really drives the long-term sustenance of a business, but also the patient care. Now, innovation or invention is not its value if we are not able to bring it to the end point, in this case, patient. So for us, the breakthrough innovation is something that is truly safety, reliability, new clinical outcome. And that's why all our innovation focus is really customer and the patient centric. And I think that's where we really want to see the value to be delivered.
Sure. Thank you, Bipin. Appreciate that. Just taking on from Bipin and Dr. Jurgen, I think the same question on innovation, but I want to just get another perspective from you. And from a global compliance perspective, how do you see companies ensuring innovation approved in one market, and how are they regulating that in other markets, Dr. Jurgen?
For me, the main point for this to ensure really that we have a product which we can serve then for the whole market is an early and a very good communication. So thinking about if you develop a product, let's say in US for the US market, and if you do on the development not check with others, is what I'm doing here also fit to other markets? Meaning this input or the collaboration, the communication between the global team or the development team, but all the market, all the regions, maybe also the commercial people, so that we get their insight, not only what is needed from the regulatory side, but also what is needed from the customer, what is needed from the patient, because every patient is different. And all of this must be incorporated into the development program very early. If we know early what we have to do, I trust our engineers, they can do everything what we want to do then. But it's very difficult to change a program thereafter. Meaning this early communication after idea creation or even beforehand is, I would find most importantly, to follow all the different regulations which we have. And we all know regulations will increase, they never go down. So the requirements which we have from this standpoint will go up and up. Therefore, communication is really key for me.
Thank you, Dr. Jurgen. Hortense, I think just coming to you, innovation, I think should be ingrained as you lead regulatory across the board. How do you see regulatory frameworks, looking at supporting radiology innovations, especially from a compliance safety standpoint?
Yeah, so when we talk about innovation, we talk about patient and getting products to patient. We want to make sure that we are truly serving those patients, right? We want to make sure that we're living into devices that are going to be safe and are going to be effective. And so all of regulations, it doesn't matter the geography or the jurisdiction, the intent and the focus is really about ensuring patient safety. So from that perspective, we see the International Medical Device Regulatory Forum, where we have regulators across the globe coming together, and they're making decisions that ultimately could shape regulations, right? So they're coming up with guidance documents, they're coming up with thoughts of how, one, we can ensure that innovative products get to patients faster, right? How we can leverage reliance So whereas we can get the clearance in the US or some other major market, and you could use that information and rely on that information for a less regulated market, so you can get patient access to these innovative devices much easier and in a much more accessible way. So those are some of the things that are happening.
Thank you so much, Hortense. I think I'm just going to move. Probably this is closer to everybody's heart here. I think there's a lot of advancements happening in AI. AI seems to be the core of the center. I think no conversations stops or ends without mentioning AI. So how do you see Bayer looking at AI? What are some of the key bets from a Bayer standpoint, especially from a radiology standpoint? Vipin, we'll start with you and then we'll go around.
Very appropriate question. No conversation is there without AI these days. You go anywhere, we talk about AI. And it has really started now even making into our everyday life, right? We see AI talk everywhere, and we also see in healthcare, the area that going to have the biggest and early impact is going to be radiology. Lot of reports are coming that way. And the expectation is AI truly going to increase the speed as well as the accuracy of the diagnosis? And I don't think there is any other answer but yes. It is going to happen. It is just a matter of time, how we are going to see this. But the AI tools are so powerful and they are getting so better that it's just like we have to make it part of our life, and radiologists and the healthcare definitely is there on the forefront. And we as a Bayer absolutely understand that. So one of our now the basic strategy is from going forward, none of our devices, we call that as naked devices, they will not be. They always are going to be smart devices. So it's like smart car, smart TV, we are going to have our smart devices. So our fundamental strategy going forward is all our future product development is going to have some shape in the form of AI. We'll see it part of product development, but also it will come as a part of products. And we are working with a lot of thought leaders, as well as some of the early incubator companies, because a lot of companies with great ideas. And our desire as a Bayer is one of the leading AI company in healthcare. That's what we want to be.
Sure. Thank you, Vipin. Hortense, if you want to add, because you seem to look at AI slightly more from a process regulatory standpoint, any insights from you would be great.
Well, just to build on Vipin's point, beyond Bayer and beyond radiology, you really want to understand where AI is going and the impact it will have in overall the healthcare industry. Take a look at FDA's clearance. Right now, the last time I checked, there were about 1,000 SAMDs cleared by FDA. And so that is a good indication. And by the way, of those 1,000 or plus SAMDs, 70 to 75% of those were in radiology. So that's a good indication of the relevance and the importance of AI in radiology and where the industry is heading.
Thank you so much, Hortense. I know, Dr. Shugan, you are more at the center of the radiologist and the patient and the doctor. So any perspectives from the physician and the payer standpoint, that will be great.
Again, AI is also for me, or what do we want to achieve? Also, what is the aim of regulatory within an organization? To get a clearance from FDA or from any other agency. All the time when I'm in development process and I talk with project managers, they tell me, Jürgen, what can you do to make it faster? We need it tomorrow. Every day we can get earlier to the market. It is of great value for us and for the patient. So where can AI help us there? And if you think about the process, we take time, of course, needed time to create the data which we need for a product, either for a medical device or for a drug. Think about a clinical trial. It takes sometimes years to get the data. But my vision is we have the data, and maybe the day thereafter we can submit to the agency. So we reduce the time and fasten the time that the product comes to the market. Mm-hmm. AI can help us with that. We also know, and if you look into the latest publication, also FDA and others, they use now AI to review what we have written. So think about, we create data, we create documents out of these data, we write them down in a lot of paper, millions of papers. We send this to the FDA. Luckily nowadays as a DVD or by a portal. 10 years or 15 years ago, we sent a truck to the FDA with all the paperwork. And then FDA takes out again all the documents and read it. My vision is a little bit, we create the data, but why should we use AI? And if FDA is using AI, maybe directly have a link and chatting together with the FDA about the data, using AI on both sides of the world. So with this, by use of the AI in this way, we really can bring our innovation product much quicker to the market, because time to prepare an FDA submission, time of the FDA until they get the approval, this goes easily to 1 or 2 years. So we can be 1 or 2 years quicker, get innovation to the market by really using AI, not only on our side, but also on the agency side.
No, appreciate Dr. Jurgen calling that out. I think AI probably is going to transform the way we operate across process technology and people's standpoint. So I'm going to take it a little further. I think this is a perfect segue of AI and regulatory and market access all coming together. So I think my next question, probably Hortense, is what proactive approaches do you see MedTech companies to take to navigate new AI, especially from the regulations and the compliances that we are seeing, right?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I would say maybe we start with the EU AI Act, because they've sort of outpaced even the US in terms of setting their foot down and defining regulations. This is what we want to see happen. I think that, first let me say, AI is definitely going to transform the industry. However, it is not for the faint in heart, because it is going to change the way we work, the way we develop product in many ways. So earlier today, we had conversations about our quality management system. We would need to really take a look at our quality management system and think in terms of risk-based, making it fit for purpose. Because the way we think about a traditional medical device, some aspects of those will be relevant to AI, but not all of it, right? So we're going to have to think a little bit differently. And then we also have to think about the data. Yes, you can train the AI on data, but at the end of the day, if that data is not broad enough, whatever medical devices you're developing, it cannot be generalizable to the population. And this is where we can see errors in diagnosis and so on happening. But getting data is not easy. And it's, even if you have access to data, it's making sure that the data is clean and how you're managing that. So there's a whole aspect around data management that needs to be considered. Then we talk about the deployment aspect of it. You also have to consider that, because how this AI will be integrated into the existing healthcare system, right? You want to make sure that it is driving efficiency in the workflow, not creating burden. So there are a lot of things that needs to be considered, both from the development side to the way we work to even how we deploy. And then even on the hospital side, there are governance processes that needs to happen. And I know this is a long response, but I had the opportunity to sit with a radiologist and observe how he uses AI to read a scan. And it was very interesting, because he was looking at a scan of a patient that he had seen like a couple of weeks ago. And the AI was saying, here are some nodules. And he's like, this doesn't seem right, because the nodules have grown much larger in like a week. And he did a process of investigation, and through those, he was able to call out that there was an error in the AI. However, I said, well, how are you documenting this? He says, well, we don't have a process. I just have to say, this is the AI's opinion, this is my opinion. So this is where governance needs to come in, because we have so many different AIs. How do you manage or know which one is relevant, which one is working? How do you maintain it from a post-market perspective? So there's a lot of things that still need to be worked out. So as we're thinking about regulations and AI, we need to think across the entire product lifecycle management, and we really need to think hard about, do we have the right infrastructure? I'm not talking about changing your quality management system, but making it fit for purpose.
How do you see aligning evolving regulatory standards influence your development priorities, especially from a radiology standpoint?
Yeah. So of course, the regulations and standards play a huge role in medical devices. We call it the essential evil we have to deal with, right? A product is not a product till we get it out. And to get out, the last mile, the last kilometer is going through the submission and getting the device clear. So understanding what the product intended use are early in the development and carefully mapping it into your regulatory strategy is, what are you really trying to prove? How do you want to design to prove it? Because testing to failure is a very last stage surprise. You don't want that. So what we really want to do in Bayer, and that's what we do, is work with regulatory team really early in the development and really understand what this product, when we present to authorities, we want to present in the shape and the form. And then do a little bit reverse engineering and start mapping into requirements and design and the development strategies. So it's huge. And on the top of that, we also saw average life of our device is about 10 to 15 years. So when we get something out to the user, they end up using 10 to 15 years. How do we keep the product fresh and evergreen in the field for that long time? Because they do change, the standard changes. So the other challenge for us is, how do we keep reading what is happening in this world, regulatory industry, and map it to what we already have for our devices. So it's a very delicate dance, but essential dance if you want to be in medical device world.
Sure. Thank you, Bipin. As we dance from technology to the actual physician, so Dr. Rugen, this might be interesting, right? I mean, there's a lot of real-world evidences that's coming through either the post-market surveillance in terms of maintaining compliance. So how do you see real-world evidences being driven into new product development?
From my perspective, it's absolutely important. And again, there are a few aspects. And maybe start again, we talk all the time about devices. Let's switch over again to the drug part. When you develop a new drug, when you do a clinical trial, a big phase 3 trial, you have your arm where you test if your drug is working or not. And then you have your comparison arm. What is a comparison arm? Normally it's what is currently done in the market, in the life. So thinking about that, you can replace this whole arm by real world data, because all the data is available. Again, this has an impact because then you only need half of the patient for the clinical trial. You can do the trial in half of the time. You go again quicker to the market, quicker to the patient. I think this is one big benefit if you talk on the drug side, where really real world evidence data can have an influence on the development of a new product. The other thing what you see on the real life evidence is really what is the need of the market. So if you see the real life evidence data of a product on the market, you also see what is maybe not working perfectly. This can be used as an input for you to see what is really the need, what should I develop next in order to serve the market, for sure then also the patient. Switching then over again on the device side, and a friend of mine told me, you can do everything on the development. The first minute the product is on the market, you will see something. It's like with kids. You try to make everything safe for them, but the first day they are out, something will happen. So the real proof of a product is in the market, because then it's not only the 10, 15, 100 intelligent people on our side developing it, then you really see how thousands of people are using it for up to 15 years. So there's so much knowledge which they are gaining compared to the knowledge which we have gained. And getting this knowledge in our hand is huge. So data is today's gold. And getting the data from post-marketing surveys or other ways how to get the data really helps us again to improve what we are doing, make our products even safer, make them more convenient for the physician, and also again then help at the end the patient. So for me, this real-world evidence is really so important to gather the feedback from the market, getting the data to assess ourselves how are we doing, but also prepare for the next wave of innovations.
Thank you, Dr. Jogan. I think real-world evidence is also driving a lot of across the continuum. So that brings us to the next segment for us. I think we want to call that more, how are we building trust and driving impact across your customers and organizations. So I'll turn the question back to you, Dr. Jogan. So what are some of the practical ways that you see companies managing diverse global regulatory requirements while they are fostering innovations to drive patient outcomes, right?
Again, I want to give two answers to that. The first answer I already given beforehand. It's really communication.
Sure.
So if the global team does not talk with the customers in the different regions, in the different countries, they never know what they should do. So this early communication between the global team and the regional or the local team, on the regulatory side, but also on the commercial side or the physician side is very important, essential. Then you can fill it. But maybe also a question then back to you. Why do we need that? So having a product which serves the whole world, that's an ideal situation. But every patient is different. Every market is different. So do we really develop, when we develop one product for the whole world, does this really fulfill the needs in each and every market? I would doubt that, honestly. So what we should think about, that we maybe develop, call it a model or system, which can be adapted to the needs which we have in the different regions and different countries. So having this a little bit in mind, not only serving one product, serve the world, but how can we build up a system of products which can serve the world? And keep in mind, again, on the drug side, personalized medicine.
Yeah.
I don't want to go so far in the device market, but really thinking about what is really the need of a patient in a specific area, in a specific hospital setting, and develop something for them. So this regional aspect, I think we have to much more think about, and not going further with one product serves the whole world, because we really need the input from the countries and from the region, what is needed in their market to serve them.
Thank you, Dr. Jogan. I think just borrowing from what you said, I think it's important to look at clinical and patient outcomes. So the world we live, as we drive innovation culture, the R&D needs to accelerate to meaningful outcomes. So I think might be relevant for me to ask that to Bipin. So Bipin, I think the question is, how do you see incorporating real world feedback into your R&D accelerations for meaningful outcomes that actually the clinicians and the patients trust, right? So if you could share some insights, that'll be great.
No, the most powerful word in this is the trust, right? And it is such an important thing in healthcare is our customers, mostly clinicians, technologists. Do they really trust our device, what it does and how it is supposed to do? And so is the patient too. So we really want to make sure that we have a strong voice of customer really making its way into our early innovation. And what we nowadays do is we have something called innovation platform process, where any idea, any new concept, we really want to first flip it upside down and really go to the customers, the users. And the first answer we get is the desirability. Our customers, our user, do they find this answer desirable or not? If the answer is yes, then we go into technical feasibility or the market viability. But that is the reason global feedback is extremely important, because we learned it hard way that the global needs are very different. So trying to get that real world feedback early in the innovation process, we go through sprint 1, sprint 2 to make sure that we really refine the concept, and we really put that heavily in our product development through the usability also. Like recently we developed a product, it took about 5 years to develop, but we went through 17 rounds of customer feedback sessions, really making sure that what we come up out is truly what we need. And sometimes it is give and take. We go and present something, get a feedback, and something go more like ethnography study. Ethnography, just go and observe the user the way they currently work, and then based on that go with the product development. So, but it plays a big role. If we do not have that voice, we might be working in the dark.
Thank you so much, Bipin. Really appreciate that. I think I'll just come back to Hortons, right? Maybe this is a question that I myself do not like, but I will ask. I think when we look at regulatory, there's a lot of focus on documentation. There's a lot of focus on what the regulators are trying to prioritize. So I think the question is, what types of documentations are regulators prioritizing in terms of effectiveness of digital health, right? If you could share some thoughts, that'll be great.
I don't like that question
Yeah, I
myself
know.
too. Because I think the fundamental reason for providing documentation is to assure regulators that the product that we're producing, which ultimately will be used, in a patient, is safe and is effective, meaning it is meeting its intended use. So from a AI perspective, definitely some of the things that I mentioned earlier around the data, making sure that you have that traceability, the risk management, and the traceability of where the data is coming from, right? You have information ensuring that you're truly following a very well developed risk management process. I think those are going to be key when it comes to AI. And one of the things that we have seen through our interactions with regulators is they truly want to understand how this AI will be deployed. So it's not just about you have a product, they also want to ensure the utility of it, how it's going to be integrated in the workflow. So I think aside from the typical documentation that you would provide, those are some of the key things that they want to do. And of course, the clinical validation of it, which in most cases when it comes to radiology, it's retrospective data.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you, Hardens. I think probably as we come to the close of the panel discussions, great to have you. Maybe closing comments from Jurgen, Hortons, and Vipin, and then I'll kind of summarize that, right?
Closing comment again. What I find important, and that what really drives me through all of my years working in regulatory, is that we serve the patient. We really want to, so the purpose of the work we are doing, I see on a daily basis. And really getting new products to the market, keeping product on the market is something which drives me to go to work every day. And getting this out is really something good, and to know then on the back that we help patients, we help physicians, is what really drives me.
Thank you, Dr. Horton.
So I would say it starts with believing in what you're doing, believing in the product that you're putting out there and the impact it is having on patients' life. Oftentimes people think of you're in regulatory, for those of you in the audience who are in regulatory, that you're just collecting paperwork. But that's not the case. You are really the last line between the company and getting a product approved so that it can be commercialized. So you're contributing directly to the top line if you're able to get that product approved on the market. And you're also contributing to improving patient health. So I see regulatory as a strategic business partner in that sense, one that not only looks out for the business, but also keep an eye on making sure that we are improving patients' lives.
So first of all, thank you very much for hosting us. It is a great discussion, and it's really our pleasure to spend an hour with you all. And the topic of innovation, radiology, and healthcare, and where we are going, we are at a cusp of something breakthrough going to happen. If you want to be in a technology field, there is nothing better than MedTech. It is really going to explode. Now there's so many opportunities. So it's really exciting to be in this field, diagnostic imaging, and what really drives us is WinBear, and which is very similar to our Tata LXC, is the fundamental core we have, and the core principle is everybody deserves answer to your health. We all like to know when somebody in our family is not doing well, and I think that the purpose drives us. So it's an exciting time to be in healthcare and radiology.
No, thank you so much, Bipin. I think as we wind up and conclude, I think few things I want to call out. Great insights, a lot of learnings I'm hoping for many of us. I think MedTech as an industry is converging with AI, data-centric R&D, a lot of regulatory, all driving opportunities and challenges. And I'm sure both the organizations, Bayer and Tata Elxsi together, I think we're on a path to eliminate health, right? So I think appreciate the discussions. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.